Edit mine. Alrighty, those of you joining us on Facebook or whatever social media network that you have, welcome to No Lie. This is our first edition show. My name is Justice Jones. I'm the host, and this is Mr. Reggie Curtis right here. And we will be discussing many topics amongst the world of sports. Today is NFL Sunday, so we're going to definitely have a blast with this one today. Now, one topic we're going to discuss first and foremost is the simple fact of the Pittsburgh Steelers and their turmoil that simply has been going on. Mike Tomlin is under fire, obviously, for obvious reasons. The fact of that AB, what are you doing? Reggie.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
The
The fact that Antonio Brown decided not to show up to work, Le'Veon Bell's contract dispute and things of that nature, Ben Roethlisberger really talking unlike regular quarterbacks talk. And one thing, and they continuously say that Le'Veon Bell is not needed. What do you think about that?
I mean, look at their record. They're 0-1-1, and their offense, even though I think Antonio Brown is the best player on the team,
Right.
I think that the offense is built around Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
So when you
I
take the
understand that.
nucleus out of the offense,
Okay.
even though Connor's running,
Okay.
they're still in disarray because they have to change their look.
Okay.
So,
Well, one thing that is prevalent to this is the fact of time of possession. When you have Le'Veon Bell, the time of possession for the Pittsburgh Steelers is 36 minutes. They have the ball for 36 minutes. Without Le'Veon Bell, they have the ball for 25 minutes. Also, because of their defense, what Le'Veon Bell does for the Pittsburgh Steelers is allow their defense not to be on the field. They're that bad that they do not need to be on the field no longer than what they have to be. And that's what Le'Veon Bell does. Third down, 3rd-and-1, you can pass it to him, get there. 3rd-and-1, you can run it with him. Patient runner gets there, winds the clock down. You can use him to drain the game. They couldn't do that with James Conner because they tried to start him off with the game against Kansas City. It did not work out so well. They was down 21-0 in the blink of an eye, and it turned into a shootout. So that's one thing that Le'Veon Bell really does well is maintain time and possession, and that's one thing that is prevalent with the Pittsburgh Steelers because they don't have a good defense. And the best way to combat a bad defense is an excellent running game. And so that's basically the 2014 Cowboys, 2016 Cowboys, 2014 with DeMarco Murray, 2016 with Ezekiel Elliott. Their defense was not that great, but the thing about it is they controlled the clock. It was time of possession. They ran DeMarco Murray into retirement 3 years beforehand because of they just ran him 400 times, but it worked. They got to a playoff game. They won versus Detroit, end up losing to Green Bay, which is probably one of the most controversial calls in playoff history to date. And then 2016, they lost to Aaron Rodgers because that type of success, because that's the thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers that's so good because you could have that type of success in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, they could turn it to another switch and be an aerial attack, which you need to be in the playoffs. So all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they have two different gears. Now they only have one gear right now because even though James Conner played well against Cleveland, understand that's Cleveland.
I mean, he's not a receiving. He's not as versatile as Bell. So I mean, even though he's running hard, you lost your number 2 receiver, number 3 receiver.
Yeah, I'm about to say Juju Smith-Schuster is the real deal.
I mean, he
and
caught
also
more passes than him, so.
Yeah, and then also I would consider they have set players for one on 3rd and short and things of that nature. And then also I like the kid James Washington that they have. They recently drafted. He's a really, really good talent.
He's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, he's really, really good talent. Now, speaking of that, now we're gonna go back to Thursday night. I'm an avid Jets fan, and it was kind of disappointing, but not really. I understand that we simply don't have the talent on the field to really compete really, really well. Offensively, defensively, we have it. I think we have a very, very good defense. Young studs. They're going after people, and I love it. But you have to be able to sustain drives offensively so that your defense doesn't get worn out. And that's pretty much what happened with Cleveland. Also, the fact of Baker Mayfield coming in and energizing the Browns to a different level that they didn't have with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor.
What do you mean different level?
It was a different level. Simply was a different level. No, because here was the thing. Tyrod Taylor was not hitting the seams that Baker Mayfield was hitting.
He's a running quarterback. That's not what he does. He doesn't dissect anything. Like, not taken from Tyrod. I mean, he's an NFL starting quarterback, but at the end of the day, you got quarterbacks who beat you with their athleticism, and then you have quarterbacks that beat you with their mind.
Well, then in Cleveland, then I don't have.
And Baker beat them with his mind.
But then I just simply don't know why he wasn't in the game earlier. Then that's a detriment to the Cleveland Browns organization.
I disagree. Why throw him to the Wolves? Like, why start him? Tyrod is a pro. Tyrod can win games for you. They never said Tyrod was the future. They just said, go ahead, Tyrod. It's a new thing we got going on. Win us some games. Let Baker sit there. Let him learn from you how to be a pro, how to live.
It's funny they said win some games. They didn't win no games. He was in there. They didn't win any games. So, I mean, you brought him in to win games. He didn't win games.
I mean, Justyce, you what you played? You played the Saints week 1.
No, they played in week 2. They played Pittsburgh week 1.
They played Pittsburgh and the Saints. 2 of the top 5 offenses in the league. What do you expect? And they were right there in both of those games. So
right it's not okay. Last time I checked, this is a win and loss league. You either win the game or you lose the game. Okay, so they did not win those games.
So you'll put your money on Cleveland
right now.
You'll put no one's betting on Cleveland to beat the Saints. Like, no one does that. That's irate. That's like,
for one, that Cleveland defense is legit. I watched them.
I mean, it's week 3. Nothing's legit.
It was you got to understand. It's a little bit. I understand what you're saying about nothing's legit in week 3. I understand the premise of it because it's like, okay, it's early. You know, they got their wheels on. You know, they just starting to get going. When it gets to the late grind, then you're going to see who you really are. I understand that principle. But you got to understand that coordinator Greg Williams is an excellent coordinator, and he always has his defenses prepared. Even with the Rams, when they're as bad as they were in those years, it was not because of their defense. It was simply because Jeff Fisher was doing an early 90s offense in a 2000 league. That's pretty much why the Rams were the Rams. It was not because of their defense, because they had absolute studs. They had T.J. McDonald on the back end. They had Alex Ogletree, what they drafted. They also drafted Aaron Donald. They had Michael Brown. They had a defense. It was not because of their defense.
When we gonna get to the picks, Justyce? We can
talk about. We about to get to it now. Okay. Well, speaking of the Rams, they play the Chargers today. Okay.
Okay. So thank you.
They play the Chargers today. I simply have the Rams. I think they're gonna be too much for them. Todd Gurley running the ball. The Chargers, their defense is really, really hurting right now. They have Joey Bosa injured. Jason Verrett is out for the year, and it's just simply they just do not have enough defensively to really stop the Rams. They really don't. And then you have Brandon Cooks, who I don't know who's going to check him because he lit up Patrick Peterson, and he's pretty much one of the top 5 corners in the league. So I don't know what are they going to do. And then defensively on the other side of the ball, it's like Phillip Rivers, I mean, he has many receivers to go to, but they have many corners to throw at them as well. So simply input, I just have the Rams. Yeah, it's not going to be ugly.
I got to roll with you. I don't want to go with the Rams because I don't like them. I think they're a popcorn team.
Popcorn.
They're popcorn.
Okay, get your popcorn right.
Yeah, they're not tough guys. I don't like Goff. He's not a tough guy. Goff is hiding. He's hiding behind the weapons. He's hiding behind Gurley. I don't think Goff is true.
Well, Goff, I mean...
And this show is called No Lie. And he's not the truth. Goff is hiding. Gurley is the truth. That's no lie.
I don't know. I think Goff just needs to develop. Give him some more time. I mean, this is year 2. I mean, my goodness. I mean, you expect him to come out the gates just saddles on fire, and it's not just simply not going to happen unless you're special. And nobody ever expected Jared Goff to be special.
Well, Vegas gave the Rams 7.
I give them 10 for real.
So you think they're gonna beat them by 10?
They'll beat them at least by 10. At least by 10.
I think it'll be a closer game than you think.
They'll beat them
I'm
by 10.
gonna side with you. We both gonna go Rams on this.
Yeah,
we both going Rams.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what we got next?
Okay, then the Rams, they beat the Cardinals, who was just anemic out there, and they played the Bears today. And the Bears defense with Khalil Mack, oh my goodness gracious, they was just flying around the ball. You got Eddie Goldman up the middle. You got
a new contract from the city.
Yo, my goodness.
Yeah, I want him to win.
Yeah, and then you have Kyle Fuller. If Kyle Fuller, last year, I'm going to give you a stat for you with Kyle Fuller. He dropped 7 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 last year. If he can just catch the ball, my goodness gracious. But at least he's always there. That's one thing I do like about Kyle Fuller. He's always there. And that defense versus the anemic offense that they call the Cardinals. I mean, it remind me back in the early 90s where it was just hot. It was just hot and blazing hot out there, and they just couldn't do anything. They simply can't do anything now. They need to put Josh Rosen in. It's just that simple. Put him in, see what you got. Because obviously with Sam Bradford, you have nothing. Okay? It don't get worse than nothing.
He's scared. Rosen is scared. He's always been scared. I mean, not Rosen. What's his name? Bradford?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not athletic. He has no arm. He's a little precise.
I don't know about no arm. I mean,
he has no arm strength, but he has a little bit of precision. But he needs time. If you don't, if Mac is on him, on his tail, the game over.
Oh, Mac's gonna be on it. That's a foregone conclusion.
So you going Chicago?
Man, I got Chicago in a landslide.
So we both go Chicago.
Absolutely, that's a landslide with Chicago.
Vegas gave him 5
because they played really well against the Seattle Seahawks, and who played the Dallas Cowboys today.
Okay.
And in Seattle, 12th man, and Seattle, they just simply have problems. I mean, they're going through a rebuild too early, which they shouldn't have done. Pete Carroll cost them a Super Bowl, and after that, it was just a downhill disaster from there. Everybody on that defense is pretty much gone. They talking about Earl Thomas.
So can I ask you a question?
What's up?
They had their run just like Baltimore had their run with Ray. And even though from that era, hold on. Even though from that era, T. Sizzle Suggs is the only one still left. So he kind of carries that old, dog demeanor, which I like, which is needed. But at the same thing, they're going through the same thing that Seattle's going through. The defense is kind of getting older, and they still trying to keep that old reform. You can't hold on forever, so
but here goes my thing.
You have to remodel. So you're mad at them for something that they have to do.
But here goes the thing about that, though.
It's over. The Legion of Boom is over.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. That's been done. But the thing about it is, you saying Baltimore. The thing about Baltimore that I completely disagree with is, in the last 18 years, they went to 2 Super Bowls. Okay, only 2. In the last 18 years. 18 years, 2 Super Bowls. That's not a dynasty to me. Seattle went back-to-back Super Bowls. They went back-to-back. Baltimore's never went back-to-back. So as good as their defense was, they never went back-to-back. This Legion of Boom defense, now, it was not better than the 2000 version of the Ravens. Absolutely not.
So you saying the Legion, that's what I'm saying. Like, go ahead, shoot straight with me.
They was not better than the 2000, but they were better than the rest of those.
Because you made it seem like
they were not better. No.
Better than Ray Lewis and them. I thought you was coming like that.
No, not in 2000.
Are you coming to me like that?
After 2000, yes, but not before 2000. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But at that time, you can attack the quarterback in a different way than you can now. They was taking people out. Okay. They was taking quarterbacks out the game. Rich Gannon was taking out the game. Achilles Smith taking out the game. Okay. They was Drew Bledsoe taking. They was taking people out.
Let me wheel you back in. So Seattle, Dallas. That's where we at, right?
Yes. And that was a tough game for me to pick, honestly.
Where you at?
I'm going Dallas by 3.
You going Dallas by
I'm
3?
going Dallas by 3. And
explain
because
I'm going Seattle.
I'm going Dallas by 3, and the simple fact of that the anemic offensive line of Seattle have Russell Wilson running for his life. You got boys out there in Dallas that can really rush the passer. Yeah, they're home.
So you think Dallas
I will take Dallas on the road. They don't have, but again, without the leads of the boom.
Bobby Wagner's coming back.
I don't care if Bobby Wagner's coming back. All I'm gonna do is have Zach Martin bump and run and go hit him head on. That's all I'm gonna do.
Who's Prescott gonna throw to? I mean, that's cool. I'm glad we disagree. Is this our game of the week? Because you know the bet.
Okay.
Do you know the bet? The bet is when we disagree on that game. Next show, because we don't no live. We doing it every Sunday before the game. Somebody got to get their hair cut.
We'll see about that. Come on, man.
You gonna get the bald head or what?
You see these waves that's about to be jumping off on here.
Is this the game? Is this the game you want to do it on?
We'll see. We'll pick it. We'll see.
So you Cowboys on Seattle?
Yes, absolutely. Right. And then next game we're gonna do is the Vikings and the Bills, and I think we're both pretty much gonna agree with this one. I mean, you have to be.
You have to be off that yak.
You gotta be on that.
You gotta be on that yak real strong.
You gotta be on that cup. My goodness, Buffalo. They have nothing out there. You got people quitting at halftime. Retired at halftime. I mean, the brother was so dark, he looked like a shadow anyway out there. He couldn't do nothing.
Hey, man, you talking about your own, man. Vontae from the city, man.
Look here.
He probably didn't want
He did something that was absolutely disrespectful to an NFL franchise.
How was that disrespectful?
He quit at halftime.
You never quit a job? You've never quit a job?
After the shift, I never quit in a minute. I have never walked out of a job.
I've walked out of many.
Well, then that shows you, and that shows me. I'm gonna finish the job that I was assigned that day, and then after that day, then I could be done. But I've never walked out, not in the middle of a shift.
Well, I'm glad for you because I've walked out on many.
That shows
if
you.
Wrong is done to
me.
And if wrong is done to me in the middle, I will walk out in the middle again, anytime.
So, how was wrong? Well, because he got benched because he was getting torched. He was getting torched.
Justice, you gotta understand. See, this is where the mentality is wrong. If I don't want to be somewhere, I don't gotta be there. That's the problem.
No,
I gave you 10. Vontae gave you 10 years. If he don't want to be there, he don't want to be there. Oh well.
That is so.
That's that man right. Let that man do what he's not irresponsible.
It was
he's a
irresponsible.
grown man.
It was irresponsible to his team. It was irresponsible for that franchise.
Who cares about Buffalo? They not in the hunt.
They paying them.
Oh well. So what? So that's I got to be a slave.
So we just throwing money away.
So I got to be a slave.
They gonna get their money. They gonna get that signing bonus. You what? They gonna get that.
Oh well, so what? They straight.
Okay, since we're talking about the city, let's go to Washington here.
Okay.
And they play Green Bay.
It's gonna be a tough one.
No, it's not gonna be that tough. I don't think it's gonna be that tough because I think the fact of the matter is that Aaron Rodgers is just way too good for anybody they got out there defensively. It's just gonna be that simple. He's gonna find ways to get the job done. I got them winning by 2 touchdowns.
Do you wear glasses? Are you supposed to wear glasses? I'm just asking.
Okay, let me explain something.
No, just answer it. Are you supposed to wear glasses?
I am supposed to wear glasses. But
so you obviously are not seeing the way DJ Swearinger is out there balling.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let's see.
He's balling.
First week, they played who? Arizona. Dang, I mean, we just talked about them.
Okay.
Second week, they played Indianapolis. Besides T.Y. Hilton, who else did they have out there?
He was Pro Bowl last year.
I'm not discounting the man's talent. There is something to be said about who you play. There is something to be said about that. Okay, it ain't like he went out there and played against New England, okay, and did that. If he played against New England and do that, and he gets time and gets a hold of time and really, then yes, we have something proven here. Other than that, now it's his test now. I want to see what he does against a great quarterback. Not good, because Andrew Luck is not that great. He is the most overrated quarterback I think I've ever heard. And that's just my personal opinion. He
Why
is by far overrated.
Why? Because he gets hurt?
Because he turns the ball over. He turns the ball over. You want to look at his numbers? He turns the ball over. How are you great and turn the ball over continuously? The only quarterback that I know that was great and could turn the ball over because he could make some magic happen that could nullify his turnovers was Brett Favre. That is it. I've never seen another quarterback that has many times. Exactly. And Andrew Luck thinks he's Brett Favre and a gunslinger, and he's not that. He's simply not that. He is the most overrated quarterback I think I ever heard. Okay. Because they said, oh, he's going to be the best coming out. He's Peyton Manning's heir apparent and all beautiful things. And he ended up going to Indy and ended up being a beautiful little party. Okay. But what happened when he gets to the playoffs? They get smacked around because he gets exposed time and time again. He's overrated, completely overrated. It's a joke to me.
I like Andrew Luck, but
I like him.
I can't defend him because he's always hurt. So.
He's always hurt and he turns the ball over. Okay, he has more interceptions than touchdowns. Come on now, let's be real.
Packers, Redskins.
Packers and Redskins. Like I told you, Pack 14. They got about over 14 points. And I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna laugh.
I'll go Green Bay, but I don't want to go Green Bay. Redskins is one of those teams that you don't know because I can't stand Snyder to start with, but you don't know which team you're gonna get. So it's like they could be the team that's hot on you, or they could be the team that doesn't care. That's lackadaisical. Well, I don't know which Redskin team I'm going to get.
Well, we're going to find something out because just like that Janet Jackson song, they in the thundering rain. In the thundering rain. So we're going to find something out there about A.J. Peterson in that running game. All right, 49ers and Chiefs. That boy Patty Mahomes, man, he has been torching the skies. He's been letting loose everything.
He got to come down sooner or later.
I mean, we both know that.
He's going to have to come down from that high.
Man.
Sooner or later. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week when he comes down from that high, but eventually it got to wear off.
I agree. I mean, he's not slinging 20 touchdowns in 4 games. That is just simply not happening.
What's going on?
But at the end of the day, they're going to beat San Francisco. I know that much.
So
I like Jimmy G. I like what he's going to produce out there today because Kansas City can't stop a marching ants from rolling into the end zone.
So who you got?
I got Kansas City. They have too many weapons. Way too many weapons.
So we both go KC?
Yeah. They got too many weapons versus the middle of the pack defense. I mean, it's just that simple. Okay, next, Oakland and Miami. And that's going to be interesting in itself because that's a game. That's one of those games right there where it's like nobody wants to watch. Nobody's watching it. Except if you're a fan.
Nobody wants to watch
If you're a fan, you watch it. Okay, who's talking about Oakland versus Miami?
We're not talking about the trends. Who cares about with the trends? We like ball. That's going to be a great game.
I mean, yes, of course it's going to be a great game.
Miami.
I do too. You want to know why?
Why do you have Miami?
Because they have a good running game. And you know what Oakland's ranked in the rock? 31st. 31st. I think there's 32 teams, and they're 31st. And then they got they got a Hall of Fame running back, and then they got a dual threat back too. Yeah, they're going to, and then all they got to do defensively is stop Amari Cooper and Jared Cook. And you're pretty much going to be gold for the rest of the night because...
Don't sleep on Lynch.
No, John Gruden doesn't run him like he should be running him, okay? They're not running the stuff.
Because usually they're behind in the games. That's why they don't run. Like, he wants to run.
Okay,
but they don't have a, air attack.
They weren't behind in Denver. They was leading the whole game until the last seconds. They was leading the entire game. Mm-hmm. And he ran them, 21 times.
So that's not enough? I mean, of course you want...
I want Liz to get 25 plus. 30, if you less than 25, no, you're not doing what you need to do. He wants to make Derek Carr... He's doing the same thing that Pete Carroll did with Russell Wilson. He wants to make the quarterback the star. And Derek Carr's not a star. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a star. Let's just call it what it is. He's not a star. So, and I don't think he's ever going to reach stardom potential. Yes, he has stardom potential, but I don't think he's going to reach stardom. He will never reach stardom.
So I'm going to leave that. I mean, Because right now, week 3 is still a mystery. Everybody's really
But
not.
here's the thing also. I'm going to give you one more thing, and then we're going to go to the next game.
Okay.
Oakland. They're not disciplined. Miami has shown excellent discipline. Okay. Number 2 in the league with penalties against them this year so far. Miami, 30 yards a game. They get average penalties against them.
Okay.
Oakland, 92.5, 29th in the league with penalties. That's disgusting.
Okay.
That is terrible football being played out there by a coach who is a relic of his game. It is a pass. It is not. The game has left him. He's trying to recover back, and it's just not going to happen. So I simply have Oakland. How you doing, man?
Good, man. What's up, Reggie? I'm sitting on y'all.
All right. All right. We got a guest here today. We got a guest.
Who's up with you, Frank?
Another day at the office, man.
Okay.
Another day at the office. All right. So I got the Colts. Yeah, you just slide on over. Yeah, okay. Colts and Eagles. All right. How does Carson Wentz look? That's one thing I'm definitely looking forward to in this game.
Who you like in this game, Frank?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with Eagles.
You going with Philly?
Wentz is a bad dude.
He is a bad
He's a
boy.
bad dude. I need that. Is the way he extends plays out of the pocket, the way he can maneuver inside the pocket, is really what gets
And he's
me.
going to be excited
Yes,
to be back on the field.
exactly. And that is one.
And, you know, he's a fan favorite, too.
Exactly.
Not just in Philadelphia.
Right. That is
Everybody, people do like Wentz. He's
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
likable.
You want to get on board with Wentz. Yeah, I mean,
Hold on.
yeah, let me
We
do
got,
it.
hold on, take it away.
Okay.
You already
He's still rolling with him. He's still rolling with the
You
boys.
already
huh?
know. So I'm going to do this first.
Okay.
Drag it on.
All right, stretch it out.
Cowboys
Stretch it out.
lose today. And it hurts me to say that because I've been a Cowboy for 25 years.
And I got him winning. I got him
They
winning.
winning.
They're
They winning
not
today.
going to Seattle.
And they winning.
Hey, Frank. If
Seattle hungry, though.
that's what I'm saying. They need that win. I made a bet with him. If I got Seattle, whoever loses that has to get a ball on the show next week. That's how strong I am that Seattle is going to
Seattle going to be hungry because they 0-2.
They're 0-2.
They want to eat.
They're a
But
Super Bowl team.
guess what? We hungry, too.
But Dallas ain't. When the
But we
last time?
hungry.
We hungry for what? What meal have we eaten since
We gonna
95?
get fatter, though.
What meal?
We going to eat today.
No meals.
We going to feed
Nah.
some Seahawks.
Cowboys
We
have.
going to eat that bird.
This is the thing
I'm
about
serious,
it.
man.
See, the thing about Jerry Jones that I like, he always knows what to do to keep the Cowboys relevant and in the spotlight. They keep people talking about
That's
us.
business.
That's what he is.
But it's not football.
That's why we haven't. That's why the Cowboys haven't won since '95.
I think
Since
the Cowboys
Jimmy
have-
Johnson.
I
era.
just, like I said, I think the Cowboys going to win today. I think they're going to do good with the offensive line about moving them and adjusting them to the Seattle defense and the Seattle front.
Who you
They're
gonna
have
hit?
they're going to have Zach Martin attack Bobby Wagner up front.
Who's scoring? Tavon Austin
The
gonna
best-
score again?
The thing is, the Cowboys defense.
That's what I'm saying.
is good.
Because the Seattle offensive line is atrocious.
Do we really know if Cowboys defense is
They
that
are
good?
good. They are good.
Or is the Giants offensive line that bad?
Oh, it's a mixture of both.
But-
because they was out there blocking like
But
they
both-
had Velcro
Even the
on
game
their
we
feet.
lost.
Yeah.
Even the
I mean,
game
my
we lost.
goodness.
They were still good.
Oh, they was excellent versus
Against
Carolina.
Carolina?
They was excellent
They
versus
was-
Carolina.
But honestly, Carolina's front seven is really built for run. They're not really great at pass rush.
But
They don't really have any elite pass rushes on there. on that
Cowboys
team.
defense is good, though. They really are.
They're really
It's
good.
underrated.
They're very good.
They've always been underrated, but my thing is, from looking at that game, Marinelli was using stunts. He was using they were going to, like, the DM would go inside, the D tackle
Yeah,
would go.
ET and TE stunts.
They
That's
were
basically
using
what they
stunts.
doing. It's basic. Those are basic. You
and
learn
the-
that in Pop Warner.
And the
Okay.
Giants,
You simply learned that in Pop Warner.
That's
They
what
couldn't
I'm
stop that.
and the Giants couldn't even, like, it was the
There was one
communication
play that I
terrible.
saw. There was one play in that game that I saw.
It wasn't
that
like they was
the left
out-
guard Will Hernandez
Yeah.
double teamed the D tackle.
He didn't hit nobody.
And didn't even hit
He
his
didn't
own
hit
man that was
nobody.
waiting
He
for him.
just stood
I
there.
was like, my God. I turned it off. I said, I'm watching Power. I'm watching Power. I'm not watching this. This is ridiculous. I'm watching Power. I turned that mess on. I was like, this is terrible.
That's cool.
So are we all going Eagles on Colts?
I'm going Philly.
I'm the Eagle.
I'm going Philly. Right. So what about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Titans? And I think this is going to be a landslide. This is going to because there is no Marcus.
Be a landslide.
There's no Marcus Mariota out there.
That's
it's going to be
good
bad.
team.
Yeah, they're more than good. I think they're great.
They just stepped it up.
Oh man,
I know so.
Because they beat Brady down. They beat him down to a bloody pulp.
That's a team to be watched.
So we all unanimous.
All right, Cincinnati and Carolina.
Got Jacksonville.
I'm going Carolina. But that's a triple to going right there.
Well, I'm going Carolina for the simple reason of this. The Cincinnati Bengals are dead last on third down. And the fact of the matter is, Cam Newton is excellent on third down. He's a dual threat. He's
excellent at home.
Period. Excellent.
Cam is
at home.
And then you got Christian McCaffrey. They have the third down.
Cincinnati offense.
But they have no Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is out for 2
to 4 weeks. He was like.
Okay, you got AJ Green, you got Boyd, you got Ross.
AJ Green?
Yeah. Okay, but they're facing against Carolina. They're number 5 in the top 10.
Huh? Nah,
you don't think he up there?
Nah, real corner going. Once they touch AJ Green, you touch on him a little bit.
I think he like that.
But here goes the thing. Also, the Carolina Panthers are ranked number 5 against the run. Against the pass. So simply put, they have
some defense too.
Yeah, they have the necessary tools, and then plus, like I said, on third down, you got Cam Newton, you got Christian McCaffrey. They just have the weapons on third down that they need to convert.
Cam don't get full of himself.
That's.
But he's at home.
But they're
gonna win that money game. In the bag.
All right, so since we're here in Maryland, we're gonna go Baltimore. They're playing Denver. I got Denver winning 20-10.
Is that the game you want? Is that the game you want to do the head thing on?
I'm going Ravens.
So what? You going Baltimore?
You damn right.
I'm going
Denver.
I'm going Ravens.
And simple reason I'm going Denver is the fact of their pass rush is just absolutely ridiculous. And then you got a standalone statue out there in Joe Flacco, and you got the Von Miller on one end, you got Bradley Chubb on the other end, you got Shane Ray.
They gonna put in RG3 today.
If they put in RG3, that's a different element. They're gonna probably throw a little Lamar Jackson in just to throw it
on.
I think they're gonna mix it up because Flacco on the way out.
Of course, yeah. Once you draft the quarterback in the first round, whoever's starting there is on the way out.
Flacco's playing good ball right now.
You're gonna have to incorporate the others.
Well, then
you didn't get RG3 for nothing. The Ravens never had 3 quarterbacks.
Never.
That's true.
This is the first year that they had 3 quarterbacks.
And I think the reason why is more about politics.
Yeah, I'm watching.
So,
but I think RG3 could lend something to him. The young dude is gonna be eventually a good quarterback. But RG3 might end up being their quarterback.
I can give you that. All right, Saints Falcons.
RG3 is not getting that. RG3 is there for insurance.
The Saints and the Falcons is an interesting game to me because I think it can either be a defensive battle or a shootout. Nobody's going to get blown out because they're division rivals. They know each other too well.
So who you got?
I got the Saints. And I got the Saints because they have more to prove than Atlanta Falcons have to prove. And the reason I say that is because people are picking the Saints to be a Super Bowl favorites, and nobody picked Atlanta to be a Super Bowl favorite because of the fact of now they got the main thing that happened with Atlanta is when they lost Kyle Shanahan and they put in Steve Sarkisian as their offensive coordinator. It's a whole different element of offense. Plus, they don't have Devontae Freeman at all. He's out today. So with Tevin Coleman is very, very good.
What's number 25? What's his name?
Ego something.
Jones? What's Jones?
No. He's good. No, I like him from Indiana. Absolutely.
What's his name?
Ego Jones.
Yeah,
from Indiana.
25,
yeah,
right?
He's good.
He's running that rock. Okay.
Okay.
I'm taking Atlanta.
No.
I think I'm going with Atlanta too.
I'm going New Orleans.
I don't see the Saints just not that talented. They
defensively or offensively?
They just not
talented.
They don't win big games, man.
Oh my Lord!
Frank.
I think last year, the big game in the wild card when they played Carolina, and a lot of people had
Carolina was that good last year.
What? They made the playoffs. They had to be some kind of good.
They were marginal.
So they're one of those marginal playoff teams?
I think they're still out.
Oh, my Lord.
I I mean, let's put
God.
it down. But Frank said he going with.
No,
we both going Falcons though.
No, I'm going Saints.
I'm going Falcons because I think they hungry too, and I think it's a Julio Jones.
Falcons at home too.
Julio Jones, man. Come on, man.
Falcons at home.
Yes.
Julio Jones.
That's the only reason why I'm going. If Falcons wasn't home, I'd be going Saints.
Julio Jones, man.
Yeah, but Julio, you gotta understand.
They're not throwing in the ball. They're not throwing in the ball.
Though.
He's a bad. Okay, he could be bad all he went running routes all day, but if he ain't getting the ball, it don't
But
mean
they
nothing.
gonna get him. He gonna get the ball.
They not get.
His problem is staying healthy.
He caught 4 touchdowns.
Stay off the boat.
Okay. 2 of them was by a wide receiver. Muhammad Sanu threw him 2 of his 4 touchdowns last year.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
But he gets hurt. That's the only thing that kills him.
Julio's a bad man, but at the same
And the
time,
Cowboys was out.
Michael Thomas.
They won Julio.
Michael Thomas was bad. That's what I'm saying.
Michael Thomas leads the league in receptions.
They have nobody that can check Michael Thomas. They have Ted Ginn.
Who would check Julio Jones though?
Okay, that's a boss. Okay, we're gonna call it. But here's the thing, because the Julio
Look at his size, man.
Julio will catch 6 for 79, and Michael Thomas will catch like 13 for 123.
4 or less.
Oh yeah, Julio is beyond talented.
Good size.
See, the difference between basketball, Frank, and football, one player can electrify a team, but they don't. It's so many different parts. I like Julio. I think Julio individually is one of the best players in the league, but he can't do it alone. If you send 3 guys at him, if he got the safety, a corner, and a linebacker all spying him, what can he do? And then if Matt Ryan doesn't have no time.
And that's the thing about it, because that's the thing about it with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan found a way to get him open. Steve Sarkisian cannot find a way to get Julio open. He was terrible at USC. He was decent at Washington, and now he's terrible in the NFL. I don't understand it. I don't understand how some of these no, because I'm like seriously, because they're supposed to be professionals at their trade, and they can't get a receiver, a top 3 receiver open with his type of talent, and you can't get him open. What does that say about you as a coordinator?
I would say he's top 3, Justin. I would say
Julio is the top 3. So name me 3 better.
He's
the best.
Julio's the best.
Over Antonio Brown.
Number 2. I'm sorry. I give you that. He's number 2. Julio ain't better than AD.
And what's the other dude?
Odell.
Odell. Think he the best.
Odell is explosive.
Odell think he the best.
He's the most explosive receiver in the league. And I say that without a doubt.
I've been watching some bad dudes.
Antonio Brown,
man.
Oh yeah, you got some young boys.
Is the best, though.
Okay, but we got the Patriots and the Lions.
I like Julio, man. Give me Julio, because I wanted him when the money was on the table and we didn't get him. Ooh, Lord.
Yeah, but the Atlanta was gonna pay.
They did.
They was gonna sell the stadium.
He's a bad dude, man.
They was gonna sell the stadium. They had no choice. Okay, Patriots and the Lions.
Patriots.
I mean, Patriots. I mean, they're gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I'm gonna be
easy.
honest. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
No, it's gonna be a chess match.
Yeah, because Matt Patricia has something to prove against the old man.
He don't want
but
to
he ain't gonna. They're gonna go 0-3.
I mean,
they're gonna go 0-3.
It's like 45-7 or something.
Oh, you
Tom Brady
I don't think it's
gonna be a laugh. It's not gonna be a laugh.
Tom Brady
No.
I don't think it's gonna be like that.
He said, I'm going to the picnic.
Nah.
And I'm going to eat.
I mean, they don't. Patriots.
They going to the barbecue. He said, line them up some
barbecue chicken.
He said, line them up some ribs. Okay. He want them things falling off the bone.
They don't even want to show up. They might as well just stay home.
Right.
Yeah, I think the
And
Patriots.
Monday Night Football, Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. Will Fitzmagic continue, or will it be?
I gotta go with Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
They hungry
I'm
now.
going Pittsburgh too.
I'm going with Tampa Bay.
Thompson is
That dope gonna wear off. The dope don't last forever. I understand that.
Thompson is not gonna put up with that. He ain't gonna do the 3 in a row.
Tomlin don't got a choice.
He's not. Tomlin is not gonna do 3 in a row, man.
You got people that's not showing up to work. Your best player said the hell with it.
He ain't
I'm not coming in.
But you know what? That's when that best player play his best game. I need a day off.
Yeah. We don't know, but see, that's the problem with media, Justice.
Okay, I understand. I
see
where you're getting. It could be personal. They could mind their business.
It's not football related.
Y'all don't know what's going on. That's why I see the media.
It's not football related, but he's gonna show up on Monday night.
Okay, so who's gonna stop Mike Evans?
You said who?
The Steelers defense.
The Steelers defense. I told him earlier. Marching ants can go from the 10 all the way to the end zone, and nobody from the Pittsburgh Steelers will step on one ant. But that's how bad they are right now. They're terrible. They are terrible.
See, that's the team that get better as the year goes on.
You know what happened with them? They lost Ryan Shazier. When they lost Ryan Shazier, they went from allowing 16 points a game to 28 points a game in a blink of an eye.
And he was arguably the best linebacker.
And last time I checked, I hope his recovery and everything. Yeah, he's walking now. I really do.
He's walking unassisted,
and that's a very good thing. But he's not walking through the tunnels Monday night.
That's true.
He's not walking through there Monday night. Okay,
that's true. That's a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think at the end of the day, they're going to start it on tomorrow night.
I don't think so.
Because Tomlin is not going to lose like that. He found a way to win, man.
But I think Tampa Bay is trying to show the world that they're
who's their quarterback?
Fitzy.
It's not Jameis.
Jameis ain't coming. He ain't starting when he come back after this week. I don't care win, lose, or draw. So he ain't coming back.
It's gonna be a little turmoil.
They gotta lose.
I think they're gonna have a little turmoil going.
Okay, they might have a little turmoil, but it'll be after this week 3.
That affects the team though.
Okay, after week 3. It ain't gonna happen before this. It'll happen after.
If this boy wins on Monday night, he might keep the job. If he don't, then guess what?
It's
another. You can't throw for 400 yards back to back and have a job in question.
You can't.
You can't have number 1 draft pick.
Well, here's the thing.
And not play him.
No, but here's the thing.
That's not true, Frank.
That's not true because here's why. They haven't paid him yet.
Yeah,
he hasn't got the check. So if he hasn't had the check, you're still on a prove-it contract.
I tell you what, he's gonna get the check.
He's not even playing.
He might get the check. It might not be from Tampa Bay. It might not be from Tampa Bay.
This boy's a heck of a quarterback.
He's overrated to me. Highly overrated.
You see him collegially?
Collegially, he was turning the ball over too, and I see what that's happening in the NFL now.
Frank, I can't. Everything you're saying is
okay.
So many number ones come. We can name 1,000 number ones.
Okay, let's see.
Like Jamal, it goes on and on. Number one picks that thing. So,
okay, but also I think his running back was Dalvin Cook and Wayne Gallman. He had a wide receiver by the name of Rashad Green, who was I think he got damn near every record in the ACC as far as receivers.
Jameis Winston is a step away from being Teddy Bridgewater.
But Bridgewater's a good quarterback too.
I don't know about Bridgewater. I think Bridgewater's better.
Bridgewater's he's a permanent backup in the league now. But he'll never be a starter.
But that's the only reason he's a permanent backup in the league is why.
But see, they draft these guys based
on the curve.
No. Don't.
He has you watch Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis Winston have the same exact problem.
But the only reason Teddy Bridgewater
the ball
the only reason Teddy Bridgewater is a backup quarterback is because he tore his knee up. Okay, if he didn't tear his knee up, he would still be starting in Minnesota right now.
But he was the starter.
If it wasn't for a kicker that can't make a 25-yard field goal.
They were a so-so team. Bridgewater,
was not so-so.
So what Kirk Cousins doing? Kirk Cousins make them better?
No. Don't say that. Don't say that now. Kirk Cousins tossing that ball all down the field.
Yeah, Cousins is...
Until somebody get up on him.
No, they got to check them balls. He tossing them. They got to check them balls.
I like Kirk Cousins.
Minnesota and the Rams, I think,
but that's
so far the best 2 teams in the NFC.
In the NFC, yes. I'm about to say NFL?
No.
NFC, yes.
Packers and the Rams.
I don't know. The Packers and...
Because you got to think, defense is really what dictates a lot.
Well, yeah, especially when it comes to playoff time.
And Vikings have top 3 defense in the league.
They had a top 2 defense last year in the league. What happened? They went to Philadelphia and got spanked. You want to know why? Because they ain't had no damn quarterback.
Exactly.
Okay.
But now
that's the difference.
Hey, Frank, watch me put them in the blender like I always do. That same quarterback is the same quarterback you picked this week to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Case Keenum, yes. Okay, but here's the thing. He's not playing against the Philadelphia defense. Okay, Philadelphia defense, they got interchangeable parts.
So you think Case Keenum is going to go on Baltimore and beat
Ravens?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It ain't happening.
You watch.
This the haircut pick.
Yeah, you got it. You watch.
It ain't happening.
This the haircut. Hey,
this is the haircut pick.
this is
Absolutely.
the haircut pick.
It ain't happening.
If Baltimore beat Denver, which I got Baltimore beating Denver, I'm giving him a ball on live next Sunday.
They're not beating them.
This is the game. This is the week.
They're not beating them. They're not beating them.
You just downed them
The
now.
Ravens.
They're not beating
The Ravens
them.
gonna.
Okay.
Baltimore's not winning.
Oh yeah.
Baltimore's
They're
not
winning. They're winning.
All right.
I guarantee.
If
I
I'm
don't
wrong, I'll
guarantee
take
it, but their
No, you
defense is
Blueberry
there.
Muffins and Stars.
That's what they are. It's all their defense. The Ravens.
Exactly. I think last time I checked
Flacco is so unpredictable,
Okay.
but they find a way to win.
They do find this defense.
Yeah, and that's what they rely on.
Oh, so Denver don't have no defense no more. I think
Well,
they
they got Von.
I think Von.
Yeah,
They got
secondaries
this.
in
They
question.
got Von
It's not,
Miller.
but remember, they're not what they used to be in the
But
secondary.
exactly.
That
They
front
are,
seven
right?
is something different. But that secondary ain't
Last time I checked,
it ain't that.
the next most important person next to the quarterback is the person that can stop the quarterback, and that's the pass rusher.
Okay.
They have nobody on that line that can block Von Miller. They have nobody on that line that can block Bradley Chubb. Bring Shane Ray in there. They have nobody that can block them. They're gonna make it a very, very bad day for Joe Flacco.
and you know what you do?
They're gonna make it a very
And you know
But
the
you know
best
what,
thing
though?
for a pass rush?
what screens. But they have a running back that can't
Screens
catch the ball.
or runs. Alex Collins right up the
And I
middle.
guarantee.
Okay, so you got Derek Wolf up the middle too.
But
That's a
Flacco don't mind
load.
letting it go.
He is a load up the middle.
Check it
Okay,
out.
Derek Wolf is a load up the middle.
Flacco don't mind letting it go, man.
We'll see.
He'll
He don't
take a chance, man.
He got
He
one,
got
two.
one of the strongest arms.
He'll throw it down the field. Somebody go get
Okay,
it.
well,
That's all.
in order to throw it down the field, it takes time for the people to go down the
But he
field.
gonna put
It
it up
takes time in the
there. No,
pocket.
he gonna give it hang time and let them go get it.
Okay, cool. We're gonna see. Okay.
he gonna
It's
get
117, y'all.
Okay.
It's no lie. Thanks for joining us today. Next Sunday we will be back. I hope I'm gonna have them wall things to his head. We're gonna be doing all that. Okay?
I'm undefeated.
Gotta get a ball.
Nah, these ways gonna be perfect.
I'm undefeated.
Get him,
We
Case.
got Frank. Hold on. What's Frank's picks? Frank got the.
Get him, Case.
Frank
I'm
got the
undefeated.
Falcons.
Get him, Case.
Frank got the Ravens. We got Frank with the Falcons and the Ravens, and we also got Frank with the Panthers. So this will be good. We're gonna tally it up next week. We gonna,
We gonna find out what happens. I gotta say it on here. Matt, thank you, Apple.
I'll see you next week.
We out.
No lie.